Hey everybody, this is the Super Bro Cast here, and we're actually trying to do something fun. We were trying to be creative. We wanted to do a second show for you that would be exclusive to Patreon for a small time period. We wanted to just do just a normal topic show, something away, not that's posed from video games, but something that could be about anything. And so we just thought of 3 topics that we all just want to chat about and see how it goes and put it out there for your entertainment and see if it's worth $1.
I think I got you were having trouble with the name and stuff. I was trying to think of something. I just actually came up with something real quick. Gamecast Bros, what's on your mind?
I'm intimidated.
See, he hates it.
That's how I felt. You were like, okay, let's come up with a topic. I'm like,
I came up with something easily because
I thought of a bunch, but I was like, oh, well, I could talk about that. Oh, but they couldn't. Well, me and Rob could. Oh, but Chad doesn't like that.
But even like Robbie's topic is more prone to Robbie, but like I like business, so I'm actually really interested to hear what he has to say.
There's always going to be stuff that one person's going to find more interesting than the other, but it's how
we're discussing this in front of you.
It's how you present it that gets other people interested.
Wait, who's starting off?
Well, I'm the oldest. No.
Dang. All right. Well, yeah. Go ahead. Actually, I'm actually really curious for, and so lead us through it.
Mine is actually very interesting because you actually don't see this too often. I'll actually give you a hypothetical situation. My topic is about the sports world.
I'm out.
Well, let me talk, because I know you're not into it, but I know you like business, and this is actually more of a business situation.
I'm in.
You have a team.
Okay.
Let's just say we'll go with all the previous winners of the sports world. Eagles won the Super Bowl. I think Golden State won basketball. Washington won Stanley Cup. And Houston won World Series.
I give you applause just for knowing that.
Well, I'm a sports guy, so I know I'm a big sports guy.
I can rally you numbers about, PSN. So
they all won championships and stuff. That's awesome. That's what that's the goal in sports is you want to win that championship. You are guaranteed next year, at this point, at this date, hypothetically, I don't know how they're all doing this year in their sports world. You're guaranteed to make the playoffs to battle for the championship again.
Whoa.
But, let me finish.
Okay.
But you're guaranteed to make the playoffs to battle for a championship again. But you have decided to close your team at the end of the year regardless of what happens. For financial reasons.
Ooh, it's a hypothetical.
Doesn't matter.
Or has this actually happened?
This has happened. I will tell you who this has happened to.
What? Yeah, let's say what team and what sport and what city.
This is a NASCAR team. The reigning championship team is closing their doors at the end of the year, regardless of winning a championship for financial reasons.
Now, what are these financial reasons?
Well, I'll kind of explain that because. I
feel defensive now.
What
the hell?
I know it boggles your mind with a success.
You want to invest in me?
With a successful business, you're closing your doors. I'll get into it because they're having financial hardships.
Okay, but this is actually interesting.
Bain Capital's notorious for doing that, though, the businesses, which is Mitt Romney's financial institution.
It would blow people's mind, if they saw that, Philly is closing their doors because they're not having as many fans and it's too expensive to run their company, even though.
Are they trying to keep up with like a platform? So like they're national champs and they're like, we have to be here, and all of a sudden like. But they don't even, they go into negatives basically. As projected, they're going into negatives because they're just not hitting their merch and whatever it is. Because actually, that's where the money is merch or the
merchandise.
It's actually not the merch.
Really?
It's not. It's actually because most merch I think goes to the driver.
Not
money.
The team.
The money that's going into the team is actually through other corporations and sponsors.
Oh, man.
So
I
you've
didn't even think, especially in NASCAR.
the reigning champion is a small budget team that runs not like a typical.
Is this stock?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the stock car. This team is not run like a normal team, and it's a small budget team.
But their driver just happened to win the championship.
They have built themselves up year after year to be a competitive team, and they went out and won a championship, being a small budget team, not running like all the other teams.
Yeah, but I mean, small businesses get eaten like wolves.
And
You know, or, I
that's-
mean, the big companies eat the small businesses like wolves. You see that in everything.
And that's now what has happened. They are now, with the struggling decline in NASCAR, teams are now instead of having one major sponsor throughout the whole year like we used to see in the 90s,
Yeah.
like Dale Earnhardt was always good wrench. You would never ever see another sponsor on that car. He was good wrench.
Yeah, I think he was like maybe one other thing when he started, but like once he hit a good platform like Goodwrench, that's where he was.
You know, now today teams you will see 2 to 6 in a year.
Change.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, so do they just not? They're very like lucrative, or like not lucrative, but like just open into contracts or something. Like I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, they'll negotiate with businesses and they'll say, okay, you know,
you're not winning. Sorry. Like
well,
yeah,
that's
that's a part of the contract.
that's the thing is that this team's winning.
So
Where's the disconnect then?
The disconnect is that
They're
it's
not the drivers they want to win.
it is. It's a small budget. It all comes back to being a small budget team. You know, when this company started running this team, the bill was being footed by the owner, because the owner was running a successful business in Denver. Mm-hmm. It's not a chain business. It was just a big.
He could afford to invest basically.
Yeah. Now,
That's typical.
when he started having
That's fine.
success, he started getting bigger sponsorships.
Okay.
That was now footing the bill that he didn't have to pay anymore. Now it's getting harder to get sponsorship because of the decline in popularity of NASCAR. So the sponsorships are not going to want to add on for as much money for as long as the time.
But now that driver's more popular, there's more expenses towards him.
The cars are getting more expensive.
Because they're having to become more competitive to make sure they keep their.
And now that there's less sponsors, the owners
The owners now gonna have to foot more of the bill, which
he may
not want to.
Why not just sell it versus closing it? Unless it's not
Well,
beneficial.
he's going to sell all his
Assets.
Yeah, he's going to sell all that. But then that comes to the question: okay, if you're not making as much, sponsorship money, why are you still kind of closing your doors? And then it comes to the fact, and some TV shows will do this too, where they'll end their show on top.
Yeah.
And some other drivers have also ended their careers on top too. Instead of continually try to race and be competitive, you're just going to close your doors and say, okay, I'm done. I'm done having fun, and I'm going to do something else.
I understand that though too, because different thing, but like look at Seinfeld. Seinfeld ended on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand the struggle on the other ends, especially with being in Fathom, and then like when we released Clock Tower, actually we recorded it here at the Vibe Studios. We just put it out just as something for fun, and then once the album was done, we were really going to push. And all of a sudden, this single started going around because I do know some people in the industry, and all of a sudden, we're ending up on these small festivals, and we couldn't keep up with the popularity. So we were literally printing shirts with not making enough money from the show, and then putting more money on my credit cards, and that's kind of ended up in the financial situation I ended up on. I was literally taking out credit cards to pay for gear and to pay for more merch because I was trying to keep. We all were. But especially me, because this was my childhood dream,
Yeah.
And it just all of a sudden it eventually hit a point where I was like, oh, I can't get another credit card, and then I just couldn't afford it,
Because I'm a diehard NASCAR and racing fan, I've actually kind of seen this coming with this team. I
I want to say almost I've seen this coming with a lot of sports in general. Even football's down, like NFL is every year is less and less viewers. But NASCAR is becoming very niche.
Yeah. I've just kind of seen it coming. I wasn't expecting it to be so soon, and especially at being such a competitive level too, to be like a contender for the championship too. If they were like maybe a bottom feeder, then I can kind of see it. Eventually, I think they were going to continue to drop down again. I think for main reasons, I think this person the owner did not want to see that. His health has been declining, so I didn't think you want to have the stress of a failing team. Not necessarily this year, because this year this team's been awesome. I think next year, if they were going to be together as a unit, would be awesome as well. But I think maybe 3 or 4 years after that, I think I would have seen that dramatic decline. His health is not good. I don't know how much
longer.
Yeah.
You know, like he's better now, but I don't. You know, something else could happen. He's had one health scare. Next one could be right around the corner. If that health scare does happen, from what I've heard, his kids aren't interested in taking it over. So there's nobody. Like if something happened to him,
they would just sell it. They would do the same thing he's doing. He might as well cash out, and take the fruit from what he's done.
It was just a complete shock to me. I mean, this news happened like a few days ago.
But these drivers could end up on another team though.
Oh yeah, they'll
be fine. They're champions.
They'll be picked up.
That's where I'm not worried.
The
they'll be
current
fine.
driver that they have now is already signed for next year with a different team.
Yeah, so it's probably a blessing in disguise, really. But that seems so shocking. Like I would be very surprised. You know, like can you imagine like the Eagles, like just going like, man, we couldn't do it this year.
All right, guys,
you know what I mean?
season.
Like that'd be crazy to think that. But that was actually it was really awesome. I never thought of it in a perspective like maybe it's because I'm just not in the sports world, but like it is actually kind of insane to think of because it's a multi-million-dollar business too. You know that Coke 1 minute is signing with them and then 3 months later is pulling out. You know, but my topic. I was having a conversation with Dad yesterday. And we were talking about, and I wanted you guys' thoughts on this, people not excelling with technology, and
as far as like
just anything, things that make. Now I do think there's exceptions. There's even for me being as gadget and I'm Mr. Consumer Electronics. I love consumer electronics, but there's even certain things for me that's too much. Like I don't like the like Alexa and Google Home. I don't like those things. I don't think they're bad, but like I don't think adding a microphone into my home to make buying toilet paper on Amazon easier. I don't see the necessity in that. I don't want something to listen to me, and I don't want something to program advertisements on my computer or my phone or whatever it's doing.
I have no issue with it. I have no issue with the idea of it and it being as it is. I just personally would not go out and buy it because I have no use for it.
Well,
I personally have an Alexa, but not for those reasons.
For Skyrim?
Yeah, to play Skyrim.
That would be the only reason I'd own one.
So, Amazon recently came out with their Fire TV Cube.
Okay.
I almost bought that, and that was one of the once I realized Alexa was in, I was like, ugh.
I was so like hypnotized by the idea that I could control my TV through my voice.
I will say, now, Xbox, the Kinect is like defunct and nobody cares. It's in the trash can already, right? So apparently Cortana, which is Google's, and then Alexa, literally as of just a few days ago, it is enabled in your Xbox now. You just have to like sync it or something like that. But your Alexa can turn on your Xbox.
Oh.
Which, whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Okay.
So really where Dad and I were getting at though, we were talking about some of the Grand Pokies and just how there were certain things that they had done for him or it just seemed like like very easy no-brainers, but like a lot of people get intimidated by technology. Like I guess
they were never. They didn't grow up with it. I mean, we kind of grew up with it. So we're.
And so, yeah,
we grew up with it. Dad's
with
generation innovated it.
We grew up with it, so we're more likely to easily
be accepting of it.
Yeah,
but it seemed like Dad was telling me about how Mom and Dad bought Granddaddy a. You remember the voicemail machines where you could put the cassette in and then it would record on the tape. And
Didn't he like refuse to use it?
Yes. And I'm like, are you refusing it because you don't want to learn or you don't want the responsibility? And then like, Grammy's been having, she's 83. It might be, she still drives, but, she had the accident a little while ago. It's getting a little bit harder for her. And I told Dad, I'm like, well, why don't you just taxi or Uber? He goes, she's not going to Uber. She has a flip phone. I'm like, you don't have to get a crazy smartphone. Just.
She couldn't handle that.
But it just seems like instead of trying, I feel like it's the whole like, whoa, you just say it, It's like, oh, what's Uber? Oh, it's a taxi service. I'll sign me up. And you go, oh, well, let me have your phone. Oh, no. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like. It's the same people that I feel like, and I don't mean to sit here and just crab. It feels like the same people. It's a lack of not knowing. Like they fear knowledge, not the actual service, what it is. Like the same people who won't use a microwave because they think it gives it your food radiation.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
That's why I have the superhuman strength.
Fallout.
That's it. My mind went straight to Fallout.
The third arm coming out of the chest. You know what I mean? Like it's. And I don't mean to make this a you people thing, but for whatever reason, I've heard certain, like, especially even when I worked at Guitar Center too, is that there were these guys, and it's a time and place kind of thing too, and I get it. But there were always old timer guys who were like, all you need is a guitar and an amp. And I'm like, man, I got all these pedals, and I'm like, I can do, and then it's funny, but then you'll say, oh, well, my guitar sounds like this. What do you do? And I'm like, I spent $400 on this unit, and it does this. Like, that's too much. I'm like, you just said you wanted that. Until I told you it went outside of what your comfort zone was.
Well, comfort zone of price?
Just, it was too complicated. I tried to, I'm kind of over the top with everything that I do. But like, I was trying to tell this customer about controlling the subharmonic frequencies of your, it's a piece called an exciter. And it's controlling the subharmonic frequencies of your tone. And so when I started explaining, the guy's like, "Oh, that's awesome that you can do this." And who would have thought that existed? What amp has that? I'm like, "You don't. It's a piece of a lot of recording studios have them." I said, they kind of run for like $400. A nice one's like $400. So much mine was. And he was just like, "So it doesn't go in your amp?" I'm like, "Well, no, it plugs into your amp, but it's a separate unit." He's like, "No, it's too much." Like, it's not. Well, that's all what you want. I mean, but you would suggest a pedal, and they're like, it's too much. I'm like, no, it's not. Most guitar people have like tons of stuff, and then you cater to, oh, I'm playing at a bar. Okay, I'm just gonna bring a small rig, or maybe you live in a small home, so you don't want all this audio equipment, But I find that it is people who are about 70 and up that I've run into, or even late 60s, but even people in your 50s and 60s were the people who were innovating, our Steve Jobs and stuff like that, innovating our phones, and then we became the recipients of it.
I'm still finding a lot of people in their 50s and 60s are still unaccepting of some technology.
Yeah, I still do too.
Like
I think it's less though.
Yeah, it is less. Yes. Just like this week, I've run into two people like in their 50s. And I was talking to them about our show. She was asking me like what I do and stuff, and like what hobbies. So I was explaining the show.
You ever heard of video games?
He was like, "Oh man, well yeah." He was, the
Atari.
Atari came out when I was younger, but I didn't really get into that.
I mean,
and that's fine.
That's okay.
And he was very accepting. There was one lady who cashed me out just today. And she was, like signing me up for their rewards thing. but it had to be done through the phone. And she was like trying to do it on the phone, and I was like, I was like doing it for her. She's like, "Oh, you're so smart. You're so handy with this stuff." I was like, "Yeah."
And now I will say I think there is a point to where you can say, do I need this? Do I need this smartphone?
Yes.
No.
You said yes.
Look at him. Yes.
Well, I will.
You should have a phone of some sort. So.
When I am on a job.
Well, you do for your job, yeah. And actually, I take it back. I do because I need to email
And I need to find a manual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So
I use my phone a lot for not business, but for fun, which.
That's what I wish I used my phone for. That's why I want the Note 9. So I actually walked into a Best Buy after chemo because I had to kill time first. I was waiting for like medication, so I'm like, walk in. And I was like, dude, it was so funny. It's like, you alright? I'm like, you guys have the Note 9s? They're like, yeah, we've got Note 9s. I'm like, no. I need the 512 version. And they're like, no. I'm like, all right. And it was like the saddest, like, because it looked like I was probably just going to vomit all over them. And like, and they were just like, this is going to be the easiest sale in the world. I'm going to get that bonus I was promised myself. Show me subscription. And they had that look. You know what I'm talking about when you walk into a retail store and they're like, well, I know you want this phone, but if you get all this crap with it, you're just going to live. Life's going to be better.
Oh, dude, that happened to me when I bought the Xbox One X a few months ago.
Okay.
Because you talked me into it. I'm not blaming you, but you talked me into it.
Well done. I borderline talked you into your TV. I almost want to talk you out of it now because of the new Samsung TVs. Oh, my word.
No,
I need like $5,000 quick. Help me out. Help me out. Go fund me.
So I see it there. I call the guy over. I'm like, yeah, I want that Xbox One X. He's like, oh, okay. Do you want anything with it? No, I'm fine.
You mean you don't want our credit card with it?
He was like, well, you don't want any games? I was like, no, I have games. You sure? Yeah, I'm good. I just want that.
This is an Xbox on a PlayStation, right?
And so he's ringing me up. A girl walks by who works at Target. She's like, oh, do you want any games that come with it? I was like, no, I'm good. I don't want any games.
Wait. A person who works at another store is selling you.
No.
Another coworker.
I'm at Target. She works at Target too. She's like, oh, do you want any cool games that come out with Xbox? No. What? Like, you don't want any of the add-ons or anything? No, I'm good. Just the Xbox.
I think it's fine to ask. You should ask because that's a part of sales. You should upsell.
Yeah.
But when somebody's like, no, I'm fine.
Like she was generally confused that all I wanted was the console.
How does she know it's not a gift?
She was like, what?
Well,
Like,
see,
that's all you want?
Okay, so I've worked sales a very long time now. For being a young man, and a young man who's going to be very old in a few days, and it bothers me that responsibility should not have been placed on you to make you feel uncomfortable. That should have been the salesman's job to be like, oh, do you want any games or accessories? Was there anything else you're looking for? Oh, no, I'm good. Oh, okay. Is this a gift? Oh, no, I'm upgrading. Oh, perfect, man. Let's cash out. Or what a great time to then be like, yo, bro, we got the coverage. You know where you're. Oh, this guy's into spending money. Let's try and get to spend $100 more. Like, but dude, these people. What was it? Bottom feeder you used earlier? They're at the bottom of the chain. They don't get. Dude, they're just like, God, is it? They're clocking in. Like, is it? As they're clocking in, why isn't it 6 o'clock yet? Like, rolling their eyes. Hey, how can I help you? Because it's just they're just worried about getting their pay, and I don't blame them. But like, they're not. No wonder they're not advancing in their damn job.
Real quick. Sometimes I sometimes if I'm in the right mood, I like those outgoing people at the register. Other days, I just want. Is this all you want? Day was good. All right, get out.
No. My response is sometimes when I'm feeling kind of grumpy, which is a lot, is that I will tell people that what they're saying is crazy or that they're crazy.
What?
It works. And the best is when I go shopping with friends and I tell them that the person who's sex speaking this is an idiot right in front of them. But not
They're
like
just doing their job.
No. And I'm coming across as a jerk right now, but
A little.
let me speak.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
it's Kyle's turn to speak. Kyle, what's your topic?
Rude.
I'll give you
See?
60 seconds.
Okay.
Explain
No.
yourself.
Let me explain it, and then you can go. So somebody, they'll go on the spiel, right?
Uh-huh.
And they'll ask you again, like what was happening with you, and they're like, "You sure you don't want a game?" I'm like, man, it just sounds crazy. And all of a sudden, like, just so much money. Just, oh, jeez. And all of a sudden, they're like, oh god, this got uncomfortable fast. Or I have a friend who has quite a bit of money, and a lot of times he'll take me and we'll go look at TVs, and he'll just buy a TV if I tell him to buy a TV, because that's just who he is. He's a money tech guru, dude, more so than me. And there was one time we were in a Best Buy, and the guy tried selling him the coverage at Best Buy on a TV, and me and my friends were like, no, I don't get that crap. I was like, whoa, let's see what he has to say. He may not be actually lying to us. He's like, you get that? I'm like, it depends. So I start asking this guy, and he gives me the whole, well, Best Buy covers. I'm like, well, no. I've worked for Asurion. This is what you actually cover. And he's like, yes. I'm like, okay, so don't say it like that. And he's like, okay. I'm like, you're going to want this, get the 2-year plan, and then we're going to smash your TV. He goes, well, we don't cover that. I'm like, accidentally dropped the television. And he goes, oh, we cover that. Go ahead.
Okay. My topic.
Shopping is fun. Yeah.
My topic is I have just been obsessed with this. I don't know why. Any free during my actually no, not during lunch today, but any free time I get.
Whose lunch did you steal?
I watch old wrestling.
I've been doing it too, actually.
Like on the WWE Network.
How old?
I've actually wanted to start from the beginning. The earliest I've found on WWE Network is the
50s.
70s for me. I haven't found 50s.
They got 50s.
They're like real small, quick things.
I haven't seen that.
You can actually find more on YouTube.
Being sick and being on chemo, it works really well. I've literally made, there's like 2 things from the 50s. They're not great, but they're in the hidden gems section.
I don't go in the hidden gems.
Well, that's where you have to find it.
Look at this dude. I'm gonna watch all of them, not those.
You're like the old people he was just talking about. Not wanting to learn.
I was so excited for this, and now I'm not.
You don't want to hunt.
The hidden gems is it's just completely random. I can't like put it in order.
How are you watching it? Where are you watching it? On what device?
It depends. I watch it on my phone, on my Xbox. You can scroll by
year. You can scroll by year.
You can scroll by year.
You click the icon and then you scroll by year.
Okay, fine. I'll check out the hidden gems.
They're not great.
Okay.
And then so the only 3 you're gonna look at for up through, I've literally made it from the beginning as early as I can to 1979.
I'm in 76 right now.
The only 3 is All Star Wrestling,
I've been watching,
which is terrible.
Yeah. But Bobo Brazil, he's big, and I don't know. He has a headbutt. Actually,
I will say there's two wrestlers in general from the when they do Dominic DeNucci is his name, is super entertaining, and it's more It's WWE. It's entertainment.
Uh-huh.
The wrestling is terrible, but he does a good job at like making people happy and laugh, and they'll do funny.
Yeah.
And then
what's
the Baron does a good job at like being a heel.
Yes, the Baron does a good job. Yes.
He's at the big nose. He just turns it up at everybody, and
I'll occasionally watch, but I don't usually go back that far to watch.
Not missing anything.
What's terrible about the wrestling?
Well, first off, also wrestling is like old school superstars where like Razor and Malcolm, you're like, yeah, Razor! And you're like, who the hell's that?
So
Yeah.
it's all
It's all jobber matches. And then they come in like,
okay.
where's Bruno? And he's sitting like right there doing really bad commentary. Because and he's a good wrestler. and
There's one thing I like about All-Star Wrestling. It's this foreign guy sitting next to Vince. Whenever it's a good match, he's like, oh, he always calls Vince the General. He's like, oh, General.
Yeah. He leaves. After a while, he goes away, and it's only Vince, and it's so much better.
He's like, oh, General, this match is so good, I want to take my shoes off.
Vince?
And
I guarantee Vince told him to call him the General.
Oh, Vince, call me the General. Have you hit Okay, have you hit where Billy Graham is around
yes,
and he's champ?
yes,
Have you seen his brother, Crazy Luke?
no.
Crazy Luke is like bigger and fatter, and he's normal, and then goes in like these little schizo. He's wrestling, all of a sudden and like all he does, you're like, what the heck was that? Oh, and what is with all the old wrestlers having something in their trunks? And something
Yes.
it's like a little like chicken
Yes.
bone. They hit people with like chicken bones.
Yes. Every single bad
Anybody
guy
who
has something
watches,
in there.
yeah. No, and what was funny?
Because that was the standard heel thing to do, was the dirty tactic, which was like the fake brass knucks and the trunks.
The brass knucks makes sense. Literally, it's like a white thing that like hangs out, looks like a chicken bone. And they're just like, like hit them and like put it underneath their nuts and like.
Or
Or the Grand Wizard, slip into the Grand Wizard.
Two things that I
Can I continue on this brass knucks thing? How much do you have to get paid to take a fake punch with a sweaty taped not just sweaty, it's nut sweat punch?
Those jobbers are there every week. They're doing.
I mean, that's
I actually see more of the same jobbers. Like I know them more by name than the actual like the superstars they're trying to push.
Yeah.
Because back then it was still WWF didn't come around till late '79, and so it was still WWF by previous Vince, and it was still territorial based. So these guys would sign just a mini contract where they wrestle for 2 or 3 months, and they're back off to Japan or and down south or wherever. And so a lot of times they're starting to hype a guy and he's gone because he's not fighting Backlund or he's not fighting Superstar or Bruno. And I actually to some degree kind of like WWE kind of locking them in because I have a year with this guy. We're going to build a story around a year. And if they re-sign, then we either move them forward or let them go or whatever. Or it's not working out, like a normal business.
Now, I just want to say 3 things about like this classic wrestling.
Sure.
Careful with ECW, by the way, when you get to it. I tried watching their first pay-per-view. It was really bad, but continue.
I've seen that. It's bad.
It's bad.
I
won the trophies for it.
They're
Those trophies. Just watch it. Don't worry about the trophies. A lot of them don't pop.
There are very few 70s matches where I see a lot of like they're actually doing like stuff that you still kind of see today, and you're like, oh wow, I give these like they're actually doing like this. That was a good match, but they're like a bunch of no-name guys who that's not the style. Get out of here.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
One of my favorite guys. He's not even a good wrestler. I just love the energy he puts forth. Ivan Putski.
Oh, dude, Ivan Putski. Border Fire! He's just big, round.
I know who.
Like I love it because the announcer will be saying something. He'll
just rip it out of there.
He's like, Polish power!
As you start getting forward, I'll say this, by 79, he's actually cut. He actually loses the belly. He's cut. But you can see him frustrated in the ring. To where he'll come out and he smiles, but then like he wins the match, raises his arm, and he's out of the ring. And you're just like, man, all of a sudden you can feel the whole like these guys aren't getting the same to where like once that belt's on that guy,
it's there.
And if that's why I think all these guys were really excited when Superstar Billy Graham was champ because he was a heel. And so all these good guys had a chance to go fight for the title. Whether they won or lost was different, but they had the ability to be a platform. And once Backlund became champ for 5 years,
Yeah.
all of a sudden Olsen was like, back to the villains.
Yep.
And the villains are in a more of a revolving door, the heels, than the
Well,
baby faces.
Well, it makes perfect sense. You want to be, back then, if you had the championship, you were most likely going to have it for a long time. If you were,
There's less shows too.
there was also
Yeah.
less shows, but if I was a good guy character and there was a heel, I would be excited knowing that they rotate challengers because hey, eventually one of these times I'm going to be in that main match. I know I'm going to lose,
But
but I'm going to be in that main event match
But
that people are going to go.
If you're a good guy, you're just kind of stuck in the undercard.
Not necessarily if there's a heel champion. Eventually, they got to rotate challengers.
because after Backlund was, there was technically Tonio and Inoki, but we don't recognize
and
them.
then
But it was Sheik, I think. After
And
that.
it's the same
Yeah.
situation when they reverse it to a babyface champion. All the heel wrestlers are going to be excited too because guess what? They're going to start getting main event.
Yeah.
It's
But there was two, and it makes sense because of the time frame of televised shows were kind of like at this point we're just starting to become like maybe every 2 weeks in certain areas, and then but your big MSG show, because actually when you actually listen to old wrestlers talk and stuff, they made most of their money at actually house show live events. Televised was actually more marketing for their So all these guys who would kind of jadjock after their match and be like, I'm calling you out, San Martino. Really, they're kind of seeing who the crowd responds to the most, and they go, oh, we can pair San Martino and whoever, Bulldog, Dick Bulldog or whatever, after him.
The last thing I just wanted to say was I recently subscribed to New Japan.
I did too.
I know you were telling me.
I did
You
too.
did too?
How far does that go back?
73. Which is when I believe they started.
Well, New Japan also bought All Japan, too, correct?
No, I think All Japan's still around, right?
No, they went under in like
Oh, well,
late 2000s.
so I watched the All In pay-per-view, but since we're talking about classic wrestling, I've been watching like the early 70s stuff.
How is
with Antonio Inoki. Way better than the 70s stuff WWE was putting
I'll have
out.
to check it out.
Antonio Inoki is
I've
like
only
the king
been-
of strong style. He invented it.
Inoki's really good. The very first match I saw was a tag team match. Him and I don't know who he was tagging with, but they were facing Luthez.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
Okay.
So I've been watching a lot of Inoki
Luthez
matches.
is like forearm
That was
brawl
in
and
the
like,
70s.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
it's been good so far.
There's one MSG match with I think oh no, it wasn't Luthez. It was who was the guy who owned AWA? Vern Gagne.
Oh.
And he did a WWE MSG show in the 70s, and he's there and he's just like taking off his jacket and he just looks so sad. Like he knows like WWE is like unfortunately a bigger platform than even though AWA started to come up in the 80s, but it almost seems, what's funny is all of a sudden 1980 hit, and these other promotions started like world class wrestling started with the Von Erich started doing better, and AWA started doing better, and NWA as a brand, even though WWE had broken off already, they were all starting to get a chance, especially WCW. WCW was starting to get a big push because of their big television push, getting a contract with Turner before Turner came and actually bought him. But you could see them all start to rise up, and then it's almost like WrestleMania happened, and just like 85, and then everybody but WCW. And the only reason I think WCW stayed alive was like Clash of... Like, they got with the program.
Starrcade.
Clash of Champions.
Starrcade was... The first Starrcade was in 83, I think.
Starrcade was before WrestleMania.
Correct. Yeah. But WrestleMania was a bigger event.
Yes.
I mean, Starrcade was a huge... I've actually watched the two Starrcades, and you can see how they're like... Yeah. This is it. This is the wrestling pillar. And it was nice to see someone that's not WWE doing that. And that's where I was happy with with All In, and the Dick Druids. The it was. I didn't watch. I just watched parts of it.
I still haven't watched the last 2 matches.
Jericho.
I did see that.
Genius. Apparently WWE's like super heated about that.
About Jericho
doing that.
Well, isn't he doing like?
They didn't clear that with us. He has a Legends contract. He's like, that's not a part of my contract. Sorry, I can do what I want. He just does. He didn't care. He didn't care. What are they gonna do? Release him?
No, they won't.
So he's having his own show on like a cruise ship.
Yeah, Jericho Cruise. So
okay,
I think it's a
good
good
close to time.
Yeah, I think it's about it. We want to do something quick and fun. Hopefully you guys like it. If you're watching this kind of currently, you're watching at Patreon, thank you for being a backer. If you're catching this a little bit later, you can go to Patreon, our channel Super Bros. You can watch all our exclusive audio for $1, all our exclusive videos for $2, and you get all of our game casts and flagship episodes early at the $1 tier too. So thank you for myself, Rob, Kyle.
Only $1.
Only $1. Come on, look real quick. Let's get real here. You go to Starbucks. You hate standing in the line. You're gonna first off, you're gonna need something to listen to, and you're probably the coffee's probably gonna be made wrong, and it's gonna be some person, some guy, some girl flirting with you, bright little hearts next to your name. You don't even really care about.
They probably spelled your name wrong.
Yeah. There's an H in your name. It's Tad. Just makes sense. So you go on your phone, you pop your headphones in, ignore them after you tell them what you want, and for $1, you get this. That's it.
We're at least worth $1.50.
I mean,
I wouldn't go up to $2. But...
if we're pushing it. Either way, thank you, and thank you for being super.